Good American Family Co-Showrunner explains how Episode 3 leaves breadcrumbs for an unexpected ending to Natalia Grace series. By the third episode of Hulu's Good American Family, audiences may very well be wondering how anyone can dispute that Natalia Grace terrorized her adopted family, the Barnetts, in the 3 years she lived with them. But as co-showrunner Sarah Sutherland warns, no one should jump to conclusions just yet. This episode is basically setting breadcrumbs that will then get paid off in the end, she tells Deadline. By the end of Episode 3, Christine Barnett, Ellen Pompeo, is good and well convinced that Natalia, Imogen Faith Reed, is out to get her. She thinks that Natalia is not actually a child, based on signs of puberty. And when she finds a used tampon under a piece of furniture, while conducting a news interview with her son, Christine flies off the handle. After confronting Natalia's previous adoptive family during a trip to New York, Christine presents her husband Michael, Mark Duplass, with what she believes to be unequivocal evidence that Natalia is playing them. According to Christine, Natalia is not only an adult, but she's working with a seemingly fake adoption agency, First Path, to con the Barnetts into paying for her extensive surgeries. And she's also potentially trying to kill Christine while she's at it. In the interview below, Sutherland broke down the episode with Deadline and explained why viewers should watch to the very end of the series before making up their minds about this bizarre case. I love this episode. The big theme of this episode is about how terrible the unknowable is. When you have this situation where it seems like you're adopting a child, you have these hopes for it, and yet suddenly everything doesn't quite seem like it should. I was just really interested in how hard it would be to be in that position, and how to dramatize that while also keeping all these other things about the story in mind. So the first step was a tremendous amount of research. It was a huge part of our writing process. We had an incredible researcher who was actually on the ground in Indiana as the trials were going on. We had all the different documents and reports and interviews that were part of the discovery process, just a tremendous amount of primary research. So our jobs were, at first, just to sit with it and really try to figure out, what's the story here? Because it's a very salacious, kind of wild, specific story that happened. We wanted to find a way to figure out what's the human story here. What is the universal theme that we're wanting to explore that also makes it worthwhile to do a whole show? Well, this has been really discussed a lot, and there's the documentary. We felt that there were elements and themes that hadn't quite been explored as much as they could be. So we really focus in on the idea that this is a show about bias. It's about these questions of who do we believe, who do we not believe, the elusive nature of truth, the hope with the perspective idea, to start with one perspective and then to sort of shift throughout the season, is to bring audiences along on that journey of grappling with their own bias in the way that we did really while we were doing the research. Well, so Katie Robbins created the show. She and I met on the affair almost a decade ago, but one of the things I loved the most about her vision for it was that it had this perspective element, actually from the very beginning. She started in 2020, so at that point there was no documentary. The trials hadn't happened, so she was just using the internet and seeing all these articles. She'd read one, and it would seem like, oh, this is the story. Then she'd read another, and well, no, that's the story. This question of Natalia was its own Rorschach test, basically. So she had the idea to do the Rashomon-style structure. The answer would be different depending on who you ask. So I came on after she did, and at the time when I came on, the research actually was pretty conclusive in terms of Natalia's real age. I don't want to ruin things for the viewers, since we're only on episode 3 here, but a lot of stuff was really quite clear. I think the most devastating part of the story itself is that the facts of the case, like the things that actually are empirical facts, were not allowed to be treated as facts, both in the court of public opinion and also the court of Indiana. So part of my surprise, and the shifting surprise that I continue to have, is the degree to which that's still true. So our show is working from the place of knowing that, and yet trying to take audiences on a journey toward figuring that out for themselves. In the world of true crime and dramatized retellings, few stories have captivated audiences quite like the ongoing saga of Natalia Grace. The case, rife with twists, contradictions, and unsettling revelations, has been the subject of multiple documentaries and now finds itself woven into the fabric of the hit series * Good American Family *. As episode 3 of the show airs, one of its co-showrunners, Amanda Carlisle, teases how this chapter subtly plants the seeds for an ending no one will see coming. When we started developing * Good American Family *, we wanted it to be more than just a retelling, Carlisle explains. It was important to us that we construct a layered narrative, one that, if you go back and watch from the beginning, leaves little breadcrumbs that add up to something much bigger than you initially realized. ###****, a new lens on an infamous case ****. From its premiere, * Good American Family * has set itself apart by blending true events with creative liberties, allowing for a deeper psychological dive into its characters. The show follows a family eerily similar to that of Michael and Christine Barnett, the adoptive parents at the center of the Natalia Grace controversy. In real life, the Barnetts allege that Natalia, who was originally believed to be a 6-year-old Ukrainian orphan with a rare form of dwarfism, was actually an adult posing as a child. Their claims led to criminal investigations, multiple court cases, and endless public speculation. Episode 3, however, reframes some of these assumptions, dropping hints that all is not as it seems, not just with Natalia, but with the very nature of the narrative itself. ###*****, the clues hidden in episode 3 ****. One of the most striking moments in episode 3 comes in a seemingly innocuous exchange between the show's fictionalized parents, John and Sarah Mitchell, and their caseworker, a no-nonsense woman named Helen Farrow. As the Mitchells argue over Natalia's erratic behavior, Helen hesitates before responding, her fingers tapping against the manila folder in front of her. It's a brief gesture, almost insignificant, but for those paying close attention, it mirrors a similar moment from episode 1. Only this time, Helen's face betrays something deeper: doubt. Her hesitation is key, says Carlisle. It's the moment where you realize that Helen might know more than she's letting on, and that's something that will have massive implications later. Another subtle hint comes in the form of Natalia's diary, which the audience has seen glimpses of throughout the episode. A close-up reveals a partially obscured sentence scrawled in the margins. * They said I was, but I wasn't. They made me say it. * It's a cryptic statement, but one that when pieced together with other moments across the series, takes on a chilling significance. ###****, the psychological tightrope ****. Perhaps the most compelling aspect of * Good American Family * is its ability to shift audience perception from one episode to the next. In episode 1, viewers are led to believe Natalia is a victim. By episode 2, suspicions arise, and in episode 3, a new possibility emerges. What if the Mitchells aren't telling the whole truth? Carlisle emphasizes that the show structure was designed to make audiences question their own biases. We wanted to play with perception. Every time you think you've figured out the truth, we introduce something that makes you doubt everything you believed before. A critical scene toward the end of episode 3 does exactly that. In it, Natalia is caught on a baby monitor whispering to herself in the dark. The sound is muffled, but one phrase stands out. Asterisk, not again asterisk, the moment is spine-tingling, yet its meaning remains elusive. Is she terrified? Is she plotting something? Or is she simply a lonely, misunderstood child clinging to the only reality she knows? The way we shot that scene was intentional, Carlyle reveals. The lighting, the sound design, the camera angle, it's all meant to evoke a sense of unease. But unease doesn't always mean guilt. It can just as easily mean fear. Hashtag asterisk asterisk, foreshadowing the unexpected ending asterisk asterisk. With episode 3 laying the groundwork, fans have begun speculating about where the series is heading. Carlyle hints that the final episodes will challenge not just the characters, but the audience itself. There's a moment in the finale that will recontextualize everything you thought you knew. We've been hiding it in plain sight from the very beginning. Some eagle-eyed viewers have already started piecing together theories. One prevailing idea is that Natalia was never the only person with secrets in the Mitchell household. A lingering shot in episode 3 of A Locked Drawer in John Mitchell's office has sparked debates online. What's inside? And why does he always make sure it's locked whenever Natalia enters the room?